Is on Maharashtra to the world, the journey of PNG jewelers from local retail to global expansion and IPO. It is my absolute privilege to introduce Dr. Saurabh Gadgil, a visionary entrepreneur and the chairman and managing director of PNG Jewelers, which is a 190-year-old legacy transformed into a global brand under his leadership. Dr. Gadgil's career journey began with his MBA in foreign trade from Symbiosis Pune, where an unexpected business challenge marked his entry into the family business. Over the past 22 years, he has expanded PNG Jewelers from a single store to over 36 outlets across India, the USA, and the UAE, while also modernizing it into a professionally run corporate entity. He's also known for his innovative marketing strategies that he has collaborated with iconic brand ambassadors and launched pioneering jewelry collections like Pratha and Adhunik. As a community leader, he has driven initiatives during the COVID 19 pandemic and contributed to temple jewelry design for iconic shrines. Beyond jewelry, Dr. Gadgil has ventured into education with SEAM Education, which is a learning multimedia college. His relentless pursuit of excellence, underpinned by the values of trust, commitment, and purity, continues to inspire and redefine success. So, without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Saurabh on stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's the first time I'm speaking at Innovate, so adjust if I make some mistakes, errors. Uh, this is really a proud moment for the entire gem and jewelry industry today that we are at the cusp of a major transformation, and we have seen that a lot of companies are going public, accessing capital markets, private equity. The industry is growing, and I think PNG is fortunate to be one of the listed companies today in this growth story. I've been hearing a lot of fellow dwellers who are contemplating on accessing capital markets, growing, expanding, and I felt it's the right time to talk to all of you about some of my experiences in the whole journey. Uh, it'll really start from the entire PNG story, the story of how we grew in Maharashtra, where we are today, and how do we see the road ahead for us. So I'll try to keep it more, interactive. And after that, if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to, answer that. So as you know, PNG started in the year 1832. This was in a city called Sangli. Sangli is on the western side of Maharashtra, and Sangli originally was Sahagalli. That's why it was called Sangli. And the family originally came from Konkan, and we had three lines of business. There was the side of business of commodities, cloth, and then there was gold. So the gold business further thrived, and that's what the family decided to do. Early 1800s, we used to sell gold on the streets of Sangli. At that point, gold was sold in like quarter kilo, half kilo, 1 kilo. And those were the times when gold would have been like a rupee, maybe a rupee a gram or even less than that. Sangli prospered in 1832. A formal store was set up in Sangli by the family. And that store even today exists on the same location. So maybe it's the oldest store existing in India on the same location. Though the store has become bigger in size, but it's still on the same location. Sangli was, in a way, a very, very iconic city, close to Kolhapur, the sugar capital of India at that point of time. And Sangli, being the turmeric capital, had a good agriculture income. The business grew there. The family, prospered in Sangli. Sangli had seen a lot of, ups and downs in the entire journey. One turning point in Sangli was the plague which hit Sangli. Another point was floods of Sangli. So when Sangli was flooded, people left their houses and tied all their gold in small bags and kept it at the PNG house, which was on a little on the hillside. Now nobody knew what was inside the bag. After floods subsided, people came back and took their bags. That was the trust which people had in the family, and I think that single-handedly is the largest attribute of what we are today. I would say that this led us to start the Sangli Bank. From that, we venture into banking, and after completing around 125 years in Sangli, my grandfather, the Ajigaka, who was born in 1915 in Sangli, decided to make the bold move of moving to Pune. Now, in that point of time, Pune in the early 1950s was a small town. It was known as a pensioners' paradise, a city with good climate, but a city which was expanding. The Kirloskar family had moved from Sangli to Pune. Bajaj Auto, Telco were establishing auto clusters on the outskirts of Pune. And the city was kind of developing and was seen to be a smaller version, a smaller option for Mumbai. So the family, my grandfather from Sangli moved to Pune in 1958. Again, when we came to Pune, the logical choice was to move to the Sarafa Bazaar in Pune, which was in Revarpet. But my grandfather had this vision that Lakshmi Road, where we are today, the name itself is Lakshmi, and he was told that this road will give a lot of wealth, prosperity, and it will be a street paved with good fortune. So we were one of the first ones to start the store in Lakshmi Road, which today is our flagship store. So it's been, when we came to Pune in 58, we had almost finished 125 years of business. And during that time, we had seen a lot of developments. We had seen the World War One, World War Two, independence. We had seen the Great Depression. We had seen, a lot of uphills. And one thing which always remained was people's belief in us and our belief in ourselves. We used to always say that, my grandparents always tell me that the most important quality one should have is to have belief in oneself. Times will come when, times will test you. So this was told because my grandfather at a very early age lost one of his eyes. So he was kind of, he couldn't see with one eye. But that was at a young, tender age of around 8, 9 years. But he lived almost 100 years, 19 and a half years. And he lived the whole life without having that ever have an obstacle for him. So that kind of, ingrained in me as a child, the qualities of, being positive, being forward looking, and, obstacles are a way of life. So I used to always think that obstacles are opportunities for you. Some look at it as challenges, but the other way of looking at it is the obstacles. They are new opportunities. Every obstacle teaches something to you. When my grandfather came to Pune, he was almost 50 years of age. So for the next 40 years, he built a business in Pune. We became one of the most loved and favorite jewelers of the city. He did a lot of things which were first times. Like, for example, he joined the Rotary Club at age of 85, which was when people retire, want to live a relaxed life. He joined that. We took him to Switzerland when he was 98 years old. He did dune dashing in Dubai desert when he was 97 years old. So that thing of seeing from very close proximity somebody who challenges a lot of beliefs in life, somebody who challenges the norms, and somebody who believes that there's nothing impossible. That was really the upbringing which I grew up. I was fortunate to spend almost 20 years of my life with him. Uh, I was born in Pune, so we used to live in a joint family. We used to live in a Wada which operated the store on Lakshmi Road. So as a child, seeing him interact with customers, visiting the stores, so it happened that you start learning things naturally. Like they say, the best teacher is somebody who is with you. Like they say, your guru is somebody who doesn't teach you formally, but you learn from observation. You learn by living in this proximity, and that's what really shaped my early days. I was born in Pune. I was living with my joint family. Uh, those days, were days when I used to visit the store just out of fun, out of curiosity, seeing what he's doing. But that somewhere built this liking for the business very, very naturally. I finished my schooling with good grades. During that time, I used to play chess. I was national chess champion. I used to, enjoy really that sport a lot. And now, in hindsight, when people ask me, "What was that chess helped you?" I say, as a young child, when I was like in say 12, 13 years old, chess taught me the power of patience. Sitting in one place for 4 5 hours was what really, as a child, the game really taught you. And in chess, you don't just learn to make your moves. You try to learn to see and observe what the opponent is thinking. What are his moves? And that's what life teaches you. That's what business is about. It's not about just what you're doing. It's about the environment. It's about what is happening around you. Where's the competition heading? What are the new trends coming up? So I think this is what every other sport taught me, and that I think has been a very, very useful asset for me in this journey ahead. Post my MBA days, and I did an internship with RBI. Again, that was a very, very useful thing for me because I studied in RBI on the futures gold market, which at that time India didn't have. So it was about studying the New York market, London market, but more than that, it was about meeting people. So I met right from the RBI governor to government officials to bankers to policymakers. So that further, showed us the view on how the industry is, where we are, and what is the potential for me as an individual to enter the industry. Now that was the point when I decided to, hey, this is the time for me to join the business. I would want to do it, but I was sure that the business had to be done like a business. So during my RBI days, one of the bankers told me that having one store is like a hobby. So if you're doing one store, you might as well enjoy it and do other activities. And but if you want to do it like a business, you need to have a chain of stores. You need to be focused. You need to be expanding. And that was the turning point for me individually when I look back. When we came to when I joined the business in 1999, we had one store in Pune, very successful store, a store which was very well received. And at that year, we had a top line of 20 crores. And as of March 2024, we are 6,000 crore plus. So that has been the journey from 2000 to 2024. So I think it's been a successful journey. And I think when we look at what really made the entire thing happen, I think it is mindset. Uh, there are a lot of things which we realized, in the first, when I joined the business, it was about how can we manage a store. We are used to doing everything ourselves. So like some of us who have single stores or would be opening the store, you'll be purchasing the jewelry, you'll be counting cash, you'll be doing all operations yourself. Now that limits you from expanding. So it was a change of mindset that we had to have systems and processes which can ensure that we can delegate work. So fortunately, in our case, we had one of our Karagir son who was educated and who wanted to pursue another line of career. So we took him on board, and that's how we started our first store. But the first store we started in the city of Pune itself, in the area of Kothur, which at that point was the fastest growing suburb of maybe India, and that store was really a turning point again for me from the business perspective, because that was a store which we started without we being there in the store. It was a store which was run completely by a manager using systems, processes, and I think the family at that point of time was a little anxious on whether it can happen. This was early 2000. This was 2001, and that landscape, they were more or less, the industry was unorganized. Almost 98% industry were unorganized, and stores were like run primarily by the family. So this whole thing of how would customers react to it, how would the system processes be there, but I demonstrated to them that this is possible. Again, this was done because a year before that, after I finished my MBA, I had consulted a MBA professor to do a SWOT on the entire business. We only had one store, and a SWOT was basically just to, make them aware of where are the threats and where are the opportunities. Uh, so once that was done, they kind of realized that Pune was changing, and how much ever strong brand we have, if we didn't expand, if we didn't reach people, people would find other options, and somewhere they would be forced to leave us. Also, we found out that women had become decision makers, women had become active earners in the family. So it was no longer a decision only taken by male. And women, it was not like only women want to shop in the afternoon. They were now looking at times in the evening when they want to come and shop, and waiting to buy for 3 hours to buy a piece of jewelry was not something which was going to be acceptable. So that also made them realize that, hey, it's time for us to expand. Now, when we did that, We were among the first to really have a professional manager, a professional system in place way back in 2001. Post that, in 2003, we launched our first website. Uh, we launched marketing campaigns talking about design. Again, these were all the first times, the first in the entire history of PNG. Because till now, it was never felt that jewelers need to advertise. It was always word to mouth. Why do you need to advertise? Then we realized that to reach newer audience, the city is spreading. We have to start looking at advertising. So eventually, we started doing that. The era of brand ambassadors, jewelry collections. So I think we did a lot of new things which were not seen in Maharashtra, which were because we are primarily looking at Maharashtra at that point of time. And I think that kind of made us that, hey, listen, this is a great opportunity, a great state. Like just for statistics, today as we speak, Maharashtra is, or you say West region, is around a $20 billion jewelry market. Out of $20 billion, Maharashtra is around 60%. So that's a huge market size when you compare jewelry for a particular state. Almost like a $10 billion plus market for the state of Maharashtra. This state is highly progressive. We have seen the maximum impact from unorganized to organized happening in Maharashtra here. We have seen a lot of brands coming up here. Uh, you know, players from north, east, south, all are coming into Maharashtra. But one thing Maharashtra has always seen is the brand loyalty. It's a very unique state when it comes to customers, when it comes to people here. It's a state which believes in loyalty. It's a state which rewards loyalty. And that was the key learning which we really realized long ago, that we had to have that special connection with customers. It's not just about products, it's about relationships. So very early we realized that the business we are in is not just about selling jewelry, it's about creating bonds, it's about creating relationships. And that, I think, single-handedly helps us to grow as we move ahead. But like they say, every business has ups and downs. As we have, even individually, we have ups and downs. After we grew to around 10 stores by 2012, we had a family, rearrangement. My uncle moved out, and he wanted to start something on his own. So that was again a turning point. It was again going back to drawing board, a new team, a new set of people. Now, with a new team comes new enthusiasm, but also comes lack of experience. So that again, plays its role. And I would say that the journey has been a very, for me, it's been a very interesting journey. A journey which has seen ups and downs, a journey which has seen mistakes as well as success. And I always say to myself that every mistake or every setback you get is an opportunity to learn and to improve ahead. So in 2012, when we had a restructuring, post that we started building the new team again, looking at things with a new direction, with a new focus. But unfortunately, in 2014, post that my grandfather passed away, which personally was for me a big setback more than anything else. He was like everything for me, and when and life comes at times when you don't think by your mind, you think by heart, you think by beyond logic. And that point of time, after his death, we decided to do 10 stores in 10 months. Now we were only 10 store company, so almost doubling your store count in a year was something which was an emotional decision. But we took that, we managed that, we did that. But as they say, not everything goes as per plan. And post that in 2015, 16, there was demonetization, there was GST, there was RERA, and the whole market slowed down. The environment kind of became different. And I think that's when you realize that in life, not everything works out as per the plan. But again, I'm saying this because a lot of us must have faced these issues that you plan for something and something else happens. But that again is a time for you to recalibrate, to look at the decision and try to see how you can turn this around in your favor. The journey is always difficult because when you're doing something and there's obstacle, at times you may have to stop, you may have to take a break, relook, rethink the entire strategy, and then bounce back again. For the years 2000, for the business from 2017, 15 to 17, 18, were really tough years because the stores had expanded, the cost had been loaded, and the market suddenly slowed down. There are a lot of external factors which affected the industry, and we as a business felt the burn for that. But again, those 3 years was a time when we really felt and thought back upon what we had to do going ahead. You have faced a situation, so that most important thing it taught me was that learn to have a plan B. when you're doing everything with the plan A in mind, that hey, this is what I want to do, this is the way it started out. At time there comes a time when things don't work out and something else comes in between. Where's the plan B now? So that made me realize the importance of plan B, which we use effectively during COVID. So after that, the struggle continued because we just started, recouping in 2018. We launched the franchisee side of business for PNG, which took off on a good note. But again, COVID struck. But now we are already seen an obstacle and how to get out of that. So for us, when COVID struck, the plan B was ready. So stores are going to be shut. You want to do business. Your costs will have to be done. So we did two things. We rationalized our existing cost structure, whatever possible we could, in terms of looking at store sizes, resizing some stores. But more importantly, we looked at the business. At that point, we realized that we are doing a lot of orders by showing catalogs, doing digital catalog, physical catalog, WhatsApp, FaceTime calling, WhatsApp calling, and that business post COVID, we just brainstormed on that. Can this become a mainstream for us post COVID? And that was the plan B, which today has been really successful. So post COVID, when the stores opened, we did not go on the same stock levels. We went on 20-30% lower stock level than we had post pre-COVID. Now this was compensated by using the hybrid model of customer orders. These orders were done because we had a very strong digital catalog, physical catalog, samples in copper, samples in silver. So today, out of our total business, around 30% comes from made to order. Now, this made to order is again supported by our Karigar network back in Pune here. Now, these Karigars are with us for the last 80, 90 years. So we realized that we have so much in us that this plan B was what really worked us today. And this plan B today has helped us to be able to have numbers which are the best in the industry when it comes to stock turns. Because we work on leaner stocks compared to competition, our stock turns are very high. We do more than upwards of 5.5, 6 stock turns annually. Our revenues per square feet are very high because we work on less stocks and we work on smaller stores. Our stores are not very big stores. We don't believe in doing stores which are like palaces. Our stores are functional stores. So they are stores which are decent, which are well done, but which can accommodate the need what we have to do in terms of stocks. Because they are smaller stores, we can work with lesser stock. Because they are smaller stores, we get better revenue per square feet. We get better revenues per store. So our revenues per store is more than 130 crores today. Our revenue per square feet is upward of 6 lakhs. So all these things were possible because we kind of used that obstacle of COVID to turn it into opportunity for us here, which again was really instrumental learning from that point. So when I said before that everything that we do, I think is a mistake you make is a learning opportunity for you. And that I think we effectively as a team really overcame in this entire journey. Another thing which I think all of us must have realized is the importance of people. Because our business is all about people, be it our employees, be it our customers, and be it a team. It's all about how people work together. And I think at PNG, the core of the entire business is people and people who are committed to work like a family. So I think that is what really has been the strength, and that is what Maharashtra rewards you for. Maharashtrian people are people who really like that kind of strong bonding, who go beyond just commercial transactions. For us, and even for a customer, it is not just a product. It's the way they behave with you, it's the way they interact with you, it's the family feeling which we have as a company with the customers. So that again was a changing point for us. Post COVID, we did this plan, it went well. 2, 3 years passed after that, and then one fine day, again the team was sitting and we were like contemplating what next. So that's where the whole idea came from, that can we maybe look at accessing capital markets. So we sat down, we looked at the last 3 years performances, and we realized that we have done exceptionally well in the last in the 3 years post COVID, in terms of not only in store expansion but in terms of revenues, in terms of growth, in terms of profitability, in terms of your reach to customers, in terms of other metrics, and that really set the ball rolling for us that hey, now this is going to be a target for us, that can we further grow and become a public limited company. Again, this I go back to my grandfather thinking that at the age of 90 he wanted to go and visit Switzerland. Same thing for us. People thought, I mean, everyone was like, you are just a city Maharashtra based company. How would you go public? It was again a challenge to be taken, but as a team, we took up the challenge that why not? If we have the potential, if we have the you know s- uh, the skill set, and if we are mentally ready to be compliant to the norms of the industry, we can do that. So it was a big task at that point of time. A lot of people, I mean, the whole, if you look at advisors, consultant, it was like a thing that it's too early. Maybe you're not ready for it. It's like you're just you have just come out of COVID. You have just come out of some serious obstacles. But we took every challenge as a thing that we have to go over it. And that's when in the year 2023, we decided that let's, start this journey. So end of December 23 is when we really signed on with the investment bankers. And that's where the journey started from the next phase of PNG. It was again a very exciting phase because again, the first time. So at heart, I believe that, everything is a first time for all of us, and we should not be scared with that. When my grandfather came from Sangli to Pune, it was the first time. There's a fear of unknown. What am I doing? Where am I entering? We overcame that. When we did 10 months, 10 stores, when we were just a 10-store company, it was fear again that what if we fail? We did that, we failed, bounce back. Post COVID struck, we bounced back. So somewhere I felt that this whole quality of resilience is what keeps any business alive, and that is what we at PNG practice. And I think the whole team at PNG is very very strong, resilient to face obstacles and bounce back. When the IPO journey started in December 2023, it was again a plan of coming together. Uh, you're entering into a phase which was never seen before by any of us because the whole team had never worked in a public company ever. So it was like again a first time for us. But the objective was clear that we are doing it with a clean intention. We're doing it with 100% compliance, and we're doing it with the objective that this has to succeed. The journey started. Each one contributed. A business plan came into place. Strategy came into place. A lot of discussions, filing of the RHP, going to SEBI, getting clearances, meeting investors. I think the whole process really changed the way we looked at business. The whole team saw a new level of confidence, a new level of enthusiasm, and believe it or not, in 9 months we became publicly listed. Now again, that was a first time ever for in the jewelry industry because a lot of people said that you need to have a plan that you may not get a SEBI clearance. You may have to go back to drawing board. You may have to rework on the plan. And I said, we at the same time we had a plan B ready, but we were so confident that if we are compliant, if we are able to demonstrate a proper business plan backed by proper data, why should we not be getting permission? Again, this brings us to most important part of PNG is compliance. We always believed, and we even believe that for us, there are two things which are non-negotiable: our values and the focus on compliance. So, be it values of honesty, trust, purity. These are values which are imbibed with us for the last 200 years. Another thing is the way we go about compliance. That's something in today's time has become the buzzword for the entire jewelry industry: compliance, compliance. But for us, we are doing it for the last many years. So that really made this journey very smooth for us. On September 17th, we got listed as a public company. We were highly oversubscribed. And again, I think that the subscription came from the people's faith, the belief in us that we would deliver what we commit, and our focus on compliance. We had a very huge listing. Again, post that, we had given a commitment in our IPO that the proceeds will be used primarily to expand the stores. We had given a period of around 15 months to do that, to finish the entire expansion, but we did that in a month's time. So again, it was a first time in industry. Nobody in Maharashtra had ever done in 9 days of Navratri 9 stores. So again, a first one for us. So I think this is what really keeps us, going. That there is nothing impossible. There is nothing which is too big a challenge for us if you have the right attitude, the right people, and the right plan to execute it. Uh, we successfully completed that. We were like the investors rewarded us with that, and I think this is where we are today. I'm in front of you. That it's been a great journey for us. The journey has seen ups and downs. It's not been a journey which has been just a linear journey. A journey which has seen failures, has seen successes, has seen a lot of ups and downs. But one thing which I think in the history of PNG has always remained is the faith you have in oneself. I think the real motivating factor for us has been that we are here to achieve it. We have the faith in ourselves to deliver what we believe in. Uh, this really, I think, is a big takeaway. I think for all of us is that never feel that there is anything which can't be done. There is, if you have the right people, if you have the right plan, and if you have the right desire, things can happen. I've been, we were talking on Maharashtra here, and I think Maharashtra is a state which is, we all are living here, we all are staying here. It's a state which has, I think, the highest potential when you compare pan India. The highest number of BIS hallmark jewelers are in the city of Mumbai. Maharashtra is the top state when it comes to foreign investments, when it comes to GDP contribution. So I think this state has enough potential for all of us to grow. PNG, I think, has today is almost at 48 stores in Maharashtra. We'll be adding another 5 more stores in the next quarter. So by the year end, we should be around 55 stores in the state of Maharashtra. That is where we would want to now further expand outside Maharashtra. In that again, we said that we would want to follow the great Maratha leader Bajirao Peshwa and follow the Peshwa dynasty. So after Maharashtra, we'll be looking at central India. So we'll be looking at going from here to Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, UP, Bihar, Delhi. That's the belt again we've seen. And I think the whole this again reasoning is backed by a lot of science, backed by a lot of data. Uh, I think retail today has become very scientific. I feel that decisions we take which are only based on emotion is art. And when you take decision only based on emotion, art at times can backfire. So I believe in today's retail, it's a mix of art and science. You need to have a mind and a heart to think together to come to a right decision. Today, PNG is on strong footing. Our decision is based on a lot of data. We have a lot of research which goes into it. We have built a lot of team to look at newer markets, to identify new strategies, identify newer areas. But having said all this, what really keeps us all again together is the whole feeling of a family. Uh, I always tell people that when they ask me what has changed post IPO, I say nothing has changed. It's like, I was playing Ranji cricket, now PNG is playing IPL. The sport is the same. It's just on a larger canvas. But what really has remained are the family values. So we say we are like the organized family jeweler. We don't want to move away from customers when they look at our family, their needs, their requirements, what they would expect from a family jeweler when we have one store is what we want to even give them today, though in a organized format, in a compliant format. That I think is the core which we really believe in ourselves that we are grown, we have become big, but we are the organized family jeweler. And that I think is a very important position which can't be bought. It has to be acquired. Legacy, generations of relations with customers, and that I think is a blessing. It's a like they say, legacy is a double-edged sword. Legacy comes along with it a lot of responsibilities. Legacy has power, but legacy also has weaknesses. Legacy limits you from doing a lot of things because it's not it's not a norm which has been expected from you. But we have been able to blend this whole legacy of trust, legacy of family bonding, legacy of relationships into a very futuristic, a modern PNG. This is where we are today. We believe that Maharashtra has given so much to us that we also want to give back to the state. So we do a lot of activities, when it comes to adopting villages, doing a lot of social work with them. At the same time, the focus on our employees remains, constant. So we are a great place to work for the last 3 years. We are a great place to work in retail, top 10 in India. So I'm trying to tell all of you here that the point here is that we should all look at people over profits. Uh, if profit is the only motive behind business, and if you don't look after your people, business will not look after you. It's been proven time and again that people build businesses, especially in jewelry. Today, technology is one part of it, where you need sound system processes. You have to be forward-looking with technology. But other thing is people. For us, all of us, when you have retail stores, our employees are like our visiting cards. The way they talk to the customer builds the company image. If if the employee can't, is talking very rudely, doesn't service the customers well, he will assume that image of the company. So for us, training of people, being with people, it is very, very essential, especially as we look forward. Human resource is going to get more and more scarce. So having good people, investing in people is going to be very, very crucial for the jewelry industry in the coming years ahead. We have been fortunate that we have had long-standing people, people who are with us, and I always believe that a company is a mixture of people's emotions coming together with a positive attitude that they want to achieve something, create something which was not done before. No single person can create anything different. It's one person's dream, one person's vision, backed by 100,000 people coming together, putting up that support, putting up that plan, executing it together. And I think we at PNG are blessed with that. Uh, I've said a lot of changes which we have done. We are very modernized. We are forward looking. We are using the best of technology, the best of marketing campaigns. But what we are still traditional is the way we interact with customers. We want to be the family to them. We want to be having the same bond with them. We do not want to compromise on that. And that, I think, is the biggest success which I owe for PNG. The story, for me is just, started. This is, I would say that, we are just 3 months, with the public issue, a lot of more dreams to achieve, a lot of more horizons to capture. But this whole journey, I think in the coming years also is going to be a blend of technology, a blend of strategy, and blend of good people. In our industry, we have seen the importance of having data today. Almost everyone today is looking at data, is looking at numbers, your stocks, your turn, your ratios. And I think that is going to be very important because retail in the coming years is going to get more and more complex. Even if you look at Maharashtra today, every national brand is in Maharashtra. There is look at south, north. Every brand today wants to be in Maharashtra because this state also rewards. This state is somewhere where we have seen that PNG today is loved by so many Maharashtrians. It's not an easy task to achieve. We feel for us it's a great it's a great for us it's a great respect. At the same time, it's a great responsibility to fulfill these dreams and to keep on doing more and more for them. That is where we would strive to go ahead with. The PNG story for Maharashtra, I think, is just started. We still see a lot of growth happening here. At the same time, we see the state also growing a lot. And every 2 years, you'll be surprised to see new pockets coming up. Every city has newer areas coming up. There are going to be undiscovered, but hidden today cities, districts where you'll see growth happening for. And as a brand, in retail, one has to be really, able to identify those markets and be a leader in those markets. So, and we believe that we have been always a risk-taking brand. We've always been able to go to places where people have not dared to go. But this is not just by, because we feel like it is backed by data. We see where the newer areas would happen. We see where upcoming potential markets will get developed, and that is where we want to go. That is where we want to be the first mover. I think that has been our strength. That has been where we have, been able to successfully navigate difficult time, navigate challenging time, and keep on moving ahead. At PNG, we feel that the whole philosophy for us is think pure, and by that I mean for us it is not only pure metal or purity of gold, but pure thoughts. Doing what you want to do with pure intentions has taken us so far and will keep us taking us in the journey ahead. Once again, thank you all of you for listening to this, and I want to thank my family here who have come. They have always been a support. My entire team here, who's without whom this whole journey would not have been possible. And I think all of you here, I hope I've been able to add something to your knowledge. And feel free to ask if I have any questions. Thank you once again. Done, na? Huh? Yeah, you can ask. You have time on hand, na?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can ask some questions. The mic, I'll stand here. You give the mic to them so I can. You have one. Okay. Okay. One mic.
Hi, Saurabh. It was an amazing speech. I'm Ritesh Jain. I just wanted to firstly to congratulate you on your IPO. It was a very big grand success. And with that, I want to know how you inspired the youth of the country. Many jewelers like you want to go in your footprint and want to go into the IPO process. So what's your inspiration for them, please?
Thank you, Ritesh. I think today a lot of players want to go public. I've been hearing from a lot of people. I've been speaking to a lot of them. I think there is enough potential for even a city-based player to go public. I think the market today is going to reward city, state, region, national. I think there'll be chains which are going to be in various different formats, which market will accept. There'll be space for them. But the most important part, I think, is being compliant. Uh, if you want to list, you have to be prepared to face the markets. You have to be prepared to face quarter over quarter questions from the market, from investors. For that, you need to have a compliance at your end very strong. That I think is the key when you look at going before listing. Anybody who comes to you would want to know everything about you. Like they say, market doesn't like surprises. If you're going to have a bad quarter, come and say openly that next quarter looks difficult for us. Market rewards honesty. So I think this is what one should look at. Otherwise, having a good team, a good business plan, what you want to do with the funds raised is very important, because market is always looking forward. So your past data is not relevant for a listing. They want to see what you would do with this listing, what you would do with this money. Do you have the plan ready? Do you have the resources? Do you have the strategy? That I think is what people should focus on. I think otherwise there is no limitation. Even a small company can go on a SME exchange and list. So there is no limitation today. uh, the market is there for everybody, and I think it's a great opportunity if you are ready to be compliant.
Myself, Amit from Calcutta. So I have just one question. Like PN Gadgil as compared to Kalyan or say Joya Lucas, how you see yourself as compared to them? Because they are also not only expanding in India, but even they are expanding overseas as well. Thank you.
I think it's a good question on what do you see competition. So I had said in one of my interviews that when I was asked who's competition, I think everyone is competition, and everyone, and there's no competition also. It's like even a single store can be a competition for you. So you have to learn to, like I say in a game of chess, look at what you want to do, and what is the market doing. So I think that is what you have to learn to look at. So a competition is going to be everybody for us. At the same time, we have to have confidence in ourselves that what are we doing. A right strategy with a right balance of a good team and with a good knowledge will ensure that you will go on the right path. So I think competition is going to be there at every level, but competition should be used effectively. You should learn from competition. You should try to see what good they are doing, what you can learn from that and adopt in a business. And another thing I think is learn to listen than to talk. I think that's the most important thing which you should do in jewelry. Observe people. They teach you a lot.
Hey, Saurabh, lovely presentation. I mean, it was great to listen to the entire story as such. And, we see bits and pieces outside, but like getting to know the story from you directly was great. Um, One very interesting thought process and part of the presentation that I saw was how you initially had like severe expansion, right? Like from one store to two stores, from two stores to 10 stores, and an additional 10 stores post that, right? At that stage, I think capital raising is very different from what went on in the IPO, right? So going back to that stage when you went into the business and you were looking at significant expansion, obviously you had the family name backing you too. But for a new age jeweler today, especially in the retail space, trust is super important, right? And backing and capital doesn't come that easy for like a new age jeweler. So what's your advice for a new jeweler entering into this market without significant backing, but like you said, compliance to the T, right? Like good team, good business plan, capital efficiency, all of this taken into consideration, what would be your advice for like a new age one?
I think it's a in today's market. If you look at what I said 20 years ago or 10 years ago, today market is much more evolved. There are a lot of more options of fundraising. Today, if you look at the entire capital market, there is potential even for a single store to be able to attract venture capital, to be able to attract private equity. So I think in today's industry, capital is not going to be a constraint. But the whole thing is, what is your USP there? If I have to invest in a company, how would you convince me to invest in a company? So that is where I think today's maybe a single store or maybe a chain of a city-based store, you have to come up with what is your USP. So when we went to capital markets, we had legacy backing us. So that was the USP. We had generations of customers with us. That's the USP. Now these can't be bought. These has to be earned. Or a new age jeweler, for example, you may be able to come up with a model which is a hybrid model. You may not, you may work with zero inventory, for example. That can be a USP. You may be able to command higher margins on your gold product because you are very design oriented. So you will have to come up with something which is going to differentiate you from market. That is where you attract the market to invest in you. A traditional business, if you do like a similar business what others are doing, then I think an investor has other options to look at. So then you have to look at the traditional way of funding. So going to banks, going to this. But if you can come up with a hybrid model, a model which is not seen in the industry, I think there are more than enough people willing today to invest in that. This whole startup culture, digital gold. There are a lot of avenues today for people to explore, discover. I think the industry size is huge. So there is potential for everybody if you are able to clearly allocate what you're doing is something which will be scalable and where if you invest, that's going to give you good ROI in the coming years. Yeah.
Hey, Saurabh. Hey, congratulations on your success. Now, my question is a bit long, so just please stay with me. Now, over your 108 years of experience, we Indians all see the gold as an investment. And that's why we're aiming for a higher carat, 22, 24 now we see the jewelry is there. If you would have seen in your US store that overseas there's no market for 18 or 24 or 22 carats gold. We all have 10, 14 carats there. Now, what do you think, or what should we do, or what should the industry do to convince the customer that we should go for a 10 carat or 14 carats rather than 14 carat? Because what we do is spend money on designing and then put it in a safe and we never sell it back. So if you want to buy the gold, we should have the block in a gold like a 24 brick.
See, I think it's a question which really we can't do anything about. It's the customers have to start evolving toward that. The countries look at it in a different way. In our traditions, gold has investment value. When you purchase jewelry, in the Western world, jewelry is fashion. Investment can be in bars or can be, on the in ETFs. Nobody looks at jewelry as an investment because it is not the jeweler there will only sell you jewelry. He'll not buy back jewelry. You have to go to a pawn shop to sell a jewelry, which will give much lower price. So the whole concept of jewelry in the West is very different. So that's why they don't care whether it's 8 carat, 10 carat, 5 carat, because for them, it's a piece just to be worn. So when you see, they'll keep jewelry on a dressing table outside when they go out. Because it is not jewelry for them, it is just it's an adornment. Here, jewelry is seen as an investment. When they say Indians look at jewelry as wearing your investment. So it's a mindset change. You will not be able to get somebody to buy a 10 carat jewelry and say it's also investment. So I think it'll take time. It's going to be our country from 23 carat move to 22 carat. Today 18 carat is somewhere being accepted. I believe there are some players who are entering also into 14 carat. So it's going to take time. It's a evolution, but there is no one answer on what we should do to convince people, because our whole, if you look at the Indian consumption, it's based on gold being a primarily source of investment. That is why we consume so much gold. And I think that is also our strength. If we move away from that strength, we will also lose the entire consumption cycle. We are looking at 1,000 tons annual consumption. But that is because the belief in gold is different. And this will be generation change. Maybe 2 generations ahead, people may look at, doing gold which is 14 karat. You may look at even gold, which is not, which can be, stainless steel can replace it, jewelry with stainless steel. We don't know. But until the psychology is the same, it's very difficult to convince people to buy lower caratage gold.
Congratulations. I just wanted to ask that you have so many franchise stores. So how do you manage all the franchise stores? Because not all the stores would do so well. So are you just matching, or are they all your own company owned stores as well? And what are the systems you're following internally to keep this going?
See, in retail, every store does different. So there is no store which will do same. So primary, if I understand that your a flagship store will always be evergreen. You may have some store which are doing great business, some store which are doing little lower than that. But firstly, we look at the first objective is to make every store profitable. So that is the whole objective behind that. So even if a franchisee or company owned store, the store, even franchisee are operated by the company. So we ensure that those stores are in location which have the market, wherein the brand is present there, and we'll ensure the break even is the first criteria. Some of them will do much more, some will do little less, but that's business for us. But we look at every store with the same system, the same processes, the same seriousness, the same data, and it's a central team for us. So it's not one store. This will have different team working on it. Merchandising is done scientifically, so everything is done on a company level as per the store requirements. But the bottom line is that every store has to be a profit making store. If the answer a question. Yeah. Yeah, you can ask. Yeah. Your mic and I can't hear you. She'll get mic to you.
Myself, Rizwana Banu Idaria here, is a founder of e-magazine named Jewel Minds. I want to know, PNG Jewelers is the B2C platform or B2B like franchise also?
No. Our primary company is B2C. We are directly to for customers. The franchisees are franchisee owned company operated business stores, but they all are retail stores catering to customers only. We don't do B2B. We don't do B2B.
In future, would you like to collaborate for the franchisee as a B2B?
I mean, we have no plan as of now.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and wish you all a happy new year and great year ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Gadgil, for such an insightful session. And now I'd like to call Mr. Vastupal Ranka to felicitate Dr. Gadgil. Thank you to also the audience in the next 10 minutes. So requesting you all to be seated, will begin shortly.